Ni wewe tu, Bwana, ni wewe tu. They said you must get born again tonight. You must. They prayed we stayed there for 3 hours.
They breathed fire.
Yes, so I got tired. I said, let me get born again. Tomorrow I will backside. So I became a photographer. Every mission that we went, when the demons were being chased away, I was capturing the moment.
You're still first year.
First year.
And you have started your first business.
First business. Yes. Yeah. My room was a business center.
So now it has become a barber shop.
The bed is there. The seat is here. I bought a mirror there. Let me tell you, this time I shaved 10 men. 10 men times 10.
In one day?
One day.
And how much was?
A head was 10 bob. One head is 10 shillings. Before Optiven, I had done over 15 businesses that never worked. The first land I bought with the 5 million I had saved was in Syokimau's place called Sabaki.
Yeah, I know Sabaki.
So I lost the money. That doubled.
The 5 million you had saved, your life savings, went down
it.
Just like that.
I lost it.
Good evening, welcome. This is the Overflow show on Hope TV Kenya. We are tuned in also on Hope FM, where you listen and live. Welcome. We learn a series on wealth creation, and this is just but a continuation of wealth creation. My name is Dr. James Karau, and today we have a guest who will expound on this concept of wealth creation. You can't wait to have him. And welcome even to our channels on Hope TV Kenya, on YouTube, on WhatsApp. You can look at the number that's scrolling on the screen, and you can get to us, SMS, and just interact with us, ask any question. And to keep this program running, we welcome you to partner with us. You can go to your M-Pesa menu. Our account is, number is 933-933, and the account is FH Overflow. Welcome. And today we have a guest, award-winning, the CEO and the MD of Optiven Limited, Dr. George Wachiuri.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. For the people joining us for the first time, please introduce yourself. We have invited George to come and speak more on wealth creation, especially on real sector, where he has actually had some footprints. Welcome, George.
Well, thank you. Let me welcome our viewers, and thank you for tuning in on Hope FM and also Hope TV. My name is George Wachiuri. I'm not new to this platform, and we partner a lot with Hope. And what I do on everyday basis, I run a company, or I work with a company called Optiven. Optiven means optimizing ventures, whereby we believe that whatever we touch must prosper. The people that work with us, they must also prosper. And at Optiven, we have a particular vision. We say that our vision is to be the champions of socio-economic transformation. That's where I work. That as we do real estate, we want to empower people economically to have their own homes. Socially, 5% of the money we earn, we give to the foundation. And we have very many programs in the foundation. You know, I was telling you that the day before yesterday, we are in Kilifi. We are launching the modern lab to communities right there. And as a person, I'm also an author. I've authored 3 books. One of the books is my story. It's called Soul Like an Eagle. There's another book I use for mentorship, mentoring our people. It's called How to Start Small and Build an Empire, Unleash Your Full Potential. The third book is, in business, there are challenges. This time I lost $2 million. We lost 200 million Kenya shillings, and we were able to pay people back. So I authored a book so that people out there who are doing business, you can be able to learn from those books, and all the money from these books. George Wachiuri does not eat a cent. All the money goes to the foundation. And other than being an author, I'm a mentor. I mentor business people. There's a school, virtual school, we call it Dr. George Wachiuri School of Mentorship. I mentor business people. Right now, you're doing cohort 6. And we have about 500 members who are being mentored. I mentor them for 6 months. And we have done cohort 1, cohort 2, cohort 3, up to cohort 6 now. And I'm happy to say that people who joined cohort 1, they're now millionaires. Because there's something I say, you can't come near George Wachiuri and remain the same. You must thrive. And then finally, I'm a married man. I have 2 boys. My firstborn is in Strathmore, 4th year. And the other one is also in Strathmore University, 1st year. And I have a daughter who is in year 8. And I'm married to one wife. I've been married for the last 24 years.
Wow, you don't look like it.
We'll be celebrating 25 years next year, God willing.
Yeah.
And other than that, I also serve in my church. I have served in my church as an usher for 15 years. And a few years ago, I became a church elder. So I work there at Destiny Life Church through the leadership of Reverend Phillips Katutu in Syokimau. We have one of the biggest churches in Syokimau. And I've been there from the beginning. I've been there for the last 24 years in that church. And I'm happy to be here in this show. And thank you.
It's good to host you, George.
Thank you.
I've been following you.
Thank you.
And you are quite an inspiration in this country.
We thank God.
And welcome to this show.
Thank you.
As I told you before, we have been learning a series on wealth creation.
Yes.
We have talked about matters wealth. What is the meaning of wealth?
Yes.
Because sometimes we think that riches are wealth, but wealth is more than riches.
Yes.
Riches is just but parts of wealth.
I agree.
We have looked at multiple income streams that unless you invest in many ventures, especially drawing from the book of the Bible, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, the Bible says invest in many ventures, 7, 8, because you don't know what will come tomorrow, what disaster tomorrow might bring. So we have been encouraging people to invest in many ventures. And last show, we talked about the 5P investment model, that after all is said and done, investment follows a pattern. And by the way, George, research shows that there are laws that govern wealth creation. Just like life is governed by laws. And we have looked at what are the laws that govern wealth creation. And if you study many people who have made it in terms of accumulating wealth, you discover they follow a certain pattern. They abide by a certain laws. And last time we talked about the 5 P's investment model. It starts with purpose.
Yes.
Purpose-driven wealth creation. Then it goes to the second P is potential. That what is the potential that you have within you and without you? And then you have to convert that potential into a product to solve people's problems.
Sure.
That product must also perform.
I agree.
The fourth P is performance.
Yes.
That there must be performance. And the last P is partnership.
Wow.
You have talked about how you have a foundation. 5P, purpose, potential, product,
And
performance,
partnership.
and partnership.
Wow.
That summarizes
Powerful.
the 5 P's of investment model. And today we have invited you to expand more on the concept of wealth creation.
Wow.
We just want to hear your story.
Wow.
And let's start with your bringing. How did this?
Yes.
How did you grow up? Because many people think that wealth is for a preserve of select few. That maybe unless you have a tall relative, grew up in a rich family, that's a mindset that many of our people have. But your story speaks something different, quite encouraging, that you can come from what they say, from grass to grace, from rags to riches. Please, George, let us know your story.
Wow, I think every time I tell my story, my mind goes very far. And I remember when we were brought up, I lost my father when I was 7 years. My father was a teacher. And my mother had not gone to school. May God rest her soul. We lost her 4 years ago. And the 8 of us, we are in a family, and our place is very dry. It's called Kieni, a very dry place.
That must be Nyeri County.
In Nyeri County. And one of the challenges we used to have is getting food to eat. There was no food.
But Nyeri is very productive, I would imagine.
Kieni is very dry. It's the driest.
Kieni is dry.
It's very dry. And those are the challenges that we faced. That I remember going to school in the morning. My mother used to call us very early in the morning, by 5. By 5, we go and till our own land.
Okay.
5. And it's cold.
How big was the land?
We had 60 acres.
60
acres, yes.
Yeah.
And in the evening, when we come back from school, we go to people's land to till to get money for food and also for any other expenses. And that was life, not 1 year, not 2 years. That was a lifestyle. Getting water in our place was a problem. I remember we used to fetch water from our home to where the river was, River Honi, 5 kilometers.
5
kilometers. You go fetch 5 kilometers.
So you do 10 kilometers, to and fro.
To and fro. And you don't have a wheelbarrow to push the water.
You are literally carrying it with your hands.
Not hands. I used to have a keondo. A keondo like
literally.
This. Literally. And the people used to laugh at us. Hey, look at these fellows. They are carrying keondo like women. We were demeaned by people. But by the grace of God, we went through school, and I remember going to class 8, and I always dreamt of becoming a hands boy, because the only mentor I had seen is people finishing
school
as class 8. They go and get a job as a hands boy, and I used to hear.
As shepherd?
Yes.
For real?
For real. And I used to have stories that this hands boy, they earn 50 shillings every month. That was a lot of money. So I was counting.
Which years are those?
Those are 1978.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then we were wondering, of course, I started school in 78 all the way to 86. And I thought that was a lot of money. So when I did class 8, I flopped.
Okay.
Yeah, I flopped.
I would imagine.
Then my mother told me, you repeat, go back. So I went back. But that particular time, my brother was in high school. And I saw he was bought a very nice pant, trouser. I said, wait a minute. That means you pass, you get new clothes. That was my inspiration.
But this time you had not started wearing pants.
No.
Trousers, long trousers.
We are wearing shorts that are, you see the birthday suit.
Yeah.
Because we had no money for clothes.
And their patches.
And there are patches all over.
I remember.
And there are some fleas and rice.
Yeah.
Life was very difficult. So that inspired me. So I repeated to class 8. And I worked so hard. By the time exams were out, I was actually number 1.
Wow.
So I went to Sugar Boys. Going there, I was not very sure whether I would finish because fees was 380 shillings. So per term. So I was in school half you are home. And I remember women coming to our house doing harambe for my fees. And that's why even today I love foundation. Because I told God, the time I'm getting money, I'll be supporting orphans. That's why we are now supporting about 700 orphans across 47 countries through the foundation. Because I know the idea of lacking.
Yeah.
And of course, going all the way to Form 4, home, school, no fees. By the grace of God in Form 4, I said, I want to be a teacher like my father.
Your father was
a teacher. So when we were doing the courses, we were selecting. But I saw somebody selecting BCom.
No, this is in Form 4.
Form 4. And I think I liked the name. I did not know what the BCom.
You didn't even know what it stands for?
No. So I removed BN, I replaced option 1 as BCom.
And you initially wanted to be like your father.
Like my father, a teacher.
But all of a sudden,
I saw a name, a very beautiful name.
And that just attracted you.
I don't know what it is.
Haya.
That's why I landed in Ruakabete campus in the university. Of course, going there was a miracle because coming to Nairobi for the first time, I thought University of Nairobi was Gara. I saw so many cars. I was mesmerized. I said, no, not yet. We went up to Kabete. Going to Kabete, I was a thin boy, hungry, dry lips, no money. I saw people being dropped by big cars. And I said, my goodness, is this another world or is heaven? But by the grace of God, I registered. And the second week, I knew I'm not going to finish because there were fees being paid. And
you did have fees?
No, there was no fees.
Just came by faith.
But by faith, there was no money. But second week, I was going to the library. And I heard people sing in the CU. Ni wewe tu, Bwana, ni wewe tu, ni wewe tu. I said, instead of going to the library, let me go to the CU. I entered the CU. When the service was going, they say, are there guests here? I was hiding.
As a first year?
Freshman. Freshman. Somebody knocked me. Where mgeni? So I stood. My name is George Wachiuri. I come from Nyeri. I'm happy to be here. Then I sat. Immediately I said Nyeri. There were 3 men. One of them is Dr. Edward Furi, who is also a member of this church. There was Gashoya, and there's a pastor now in the US in Delaware. They captured me. You're from Nyeri. Let's go to our room. And they witnessed for me. They said, you must get born again tonight. You must. We stayed there for 3 hours.
They breathed fire.
Yes. So I got tired. I said, let me get born again. Tomorrow I will backside. So I knelt down. They prayed for me.
Yeah.
Now it's about 28 years down the line.
Yeah.
And Jesus is my Savior.
You never backslid.
No. They followed me up.
Yeah.
Mentorship for prayers.
They must have been
6 o'clock.
God sent, eh?
Yes. Hey, Wachiuri,
you are so dedicated.
Are you coming for the fellowship? They followed me up.
But wait a minute. You said they came from Nyeri also?
They came from Nyeri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they followed me. Yeah. Then, of course, campus now, there's no money. One day I was wondering, these clean people, what can I do to do business with them? The first idea that came is, Christian, you are going for missions in Kilifi, everywhere. You are going for missions. I told my brother, buy for me a camera. Called Yashika, the one for rotating. He bought me a camera.
Yeah.
So I became a photographer. Every mission that we went, when the demons were being chased away, I was capturing the moment.
You're still first year?
First year.
And you have started your first business?
First business. Yes. Yeah. After the mission, we used to do this Kodak. I had a deal with an Asian guy.
Yeah.
I pay 4 bob, I sell 10 bob. So the margin per photo was 6 bob. And for the first time in the first year, I had 20,000 Kenya shillings. I couldn't believe it. That was a lot of
Just by
money.
taking photos.
Just photos. But I was a very good salesman. I was selling at night, even 3 a.m. I was knocking people's
So whenever
door.
you go for mission,
Yeah.
you take people photos and they would pay for it.
They pay for it. Only 10 bob. I
Yeah.
sell to them. Then I said, wait a minute. I think campus there is money. So I thought, these brethren, they were so neat and clean. I said, what if I start a cleaning business? I started a cleaning business. I would wash their clothes.
Literally. Not buying a laundry machine.
No.
Yeah.
I iron
Yourself.
myself at night, and then I charge them 10, 20. If it is very dirty, 30. That was a fantastic business, and I earned a lot of money. Then finally I discovered.
And you are still first year. You
Then-
really started two businesses.
Two
Are
businesses.
you still taking photos?
Hey, photos is a big business. And then finally I discovered the room I was given, I converted to a social library. I could buy Christian magazines. Now this is second and third year now. And I would hire these magazines. You come and borrow a magazine, you pay a bob. If you are late to return, you pay a fine of 50 cents. And that was it was called social library, social lib.
Yeah.
It was another business. And then finally,
Converted your
small room
into a
business.
Were you sharing a room with someone?
No. It was a very small room.
Yeah.
And then finally, the final business in campus, when I was third year and fourth year, I also discovered that these people in the university, they are very keen on in matters. Now I'm taking photos, I'm washing clothes, and then I'm also, they are very keen on neatness, especially men. So I opened a barber shop.
Wow.
Nikuwa kinyozi, I was a barber.
It was the first one on campus. Nobody had
Nobody.
thought about that idea.
It was a monopoly. I was alone.
And where did you get the praise?
My room was a business center.
So
Yeah.
now it has become a barber shop.
The bed is there. The seat is here. I bought a mirror there. Let me tell you, this time I shaved 10 men. 10 men times 10.
In one day.
One day.
And how much was?
A head was 10 bob. One head is 10 shillings. So 10 bob times 10 people, how much money is that?
100 shillings.
And that was a lot of money.
In those years.
In those years. And the time I was cleared from 4, I was given the most entrepreneurial students in the University of Nairobi. By then, Professor Gishaga.
Wow.
That was campus. But now, those were the time of Moi, President Moi. Hey, there were stories, there are no jobs. So me, I panicked because I knew, will I go back to Kieni?
But wait a minute.
Yes.
We are on campus. You're now learning a multiple businesses.
Yes.
You went through all the way to fourth year.
Yeah, 4 years, doing businesses.
So fees was no longer a problem.
Aye. Not only fees. My mother now was getting sugar,
Hajja.
unga, and one time she asked me, hey, in Greek, Wachiuri godoma, in meaning, utasoma.
Will you be able to
George,
manage
utasoma.
Making money and, and
Or are you a thief? Are you stealing?
yeah.
She was very concerned where I was getting the money. Then I told her, I'm doing business. Now utasoma kweli.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How are you talking about balance between academics and businesses? Because I've seen many people in the university.
Yes.
Sometimes they are not able to strike a balance and they venture into one area more than the other. They sacrifice academic studies for the sake of making money. There are people who have come for graduation for their children only to discover our son discontinued a long time ago, but he has been learning a business.
I think one of the sacrifices I did is what I call sleep. I was not sleeping. I was sleeping for 3 hours, 4 hours. All these sales are happening at night. After the library, I now go and knock to people's doors, selling them and shaving them, and call them, come, your hair doesn't look good. Come, I do a shave. Sometimes I go to their own rooms. So I create a time within 24 hours. And then there was time for study. There was also time for business. And by the time I finished, I actually got a second class upper.
Wow.
So that it means if I was focused,
Yeah.
maybe ningepata first class.
That is God's grace.
Yes.
Not many people are able to strike such a balance.
But of course, now when we now finishing university, there were stories that there are no jobs.
Okay, yeah.
And personally, I panicked. So I picked my 4 friends. I told them, hey, man, we can go to the village. And I remember doing over 300 job applications. Those days were no email. You literally write
300
job applications.
Send them through the post office.
No,
box.
you drop.
Oh, you literally drop.
You don't have money to keep sending letters. You drop. So we divided Nairobi into 4. I was giving a Badogo and Nairobi Center. A friend of mine was giving that area. So we divided Nairobi into 4. So you go and drop 4 letters. That's how I got my first job.
Wow. Wow. And which is a job now?
I was hired by Wachiuri supermarket as an accountant.
Wow.
Yes.
But you did become in what? Marketing, accounting?
I did the CPA up to K. Remember when I was doing business, I was also doing CPA.
Not just the degree.
Then I did a degree in marketing.
In marketing.
Yes.
So you're now an accountant.
Yes.
And you are a marketer.
Yes.
Multi-skills.
We are calling it hedging. Scarcity teaches you how to hedge. So if you don't get a marketing job, you get an accounting job.
Yeah.
Of course, the first job I got was an accounting job. Yes.
As in Ichumi.
Ichumi supermarket.
And what are you doing in Ichumi exactly?
I was in charge of ledgers, balancing all the Z scores, all the money that comes to the supermarket. I do the balancing. I worked there for about 1 year. And I remember one time we were in a big hall as an accountant. One time, I'm a person of stories. So I was caught by the MD giving people stories. I was fired on the spot. On the spot, I was fired.
In the presence of your friends,
I am telling you, I was fired. Me, I can't keep quiet. I think I'm a marketer. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah.
And of course, the story followed.
After how long had you worked? How long had you worked? Just 1 year?
Well, just 1 year.
And you have found giving stories?
Giving stories, so I was fired.
Instead of working?
Instead of working.
And you were fired on the spot?
On the spot. And then, of course, it was very tough. By the grace of God, now I got another assignment in Kakuma refugee camp. I worked with the refugees for about 3 years. And then I came back, I worked for IOM. We were taking Somali Bantus to the US. Then I worked for UNICEF for about 1 year, UNICEF Sudan. And then finally I worked for World Vision Somalia. I was working in Wajid, Hargeisa. And then after 1 year, I resigned and went to full-time business.
Wow.
Yes.
So your employment spanned for how many years? Uchumi was 1 year?
It's about 8 years.
8 years?
8 years, yes.
Wow. And during these 8 years, you were just an employee. Did you venture into any other streams of income, like small businesses here and there?
Yeah, when I was there, after 5, I used to do other businesses. I used to do car sales. I used to do selling cosmetics. I used to manufacture those cosmetics and selling shoes. I had a kibada in Gekomba. So I used to do other businesses after work. Yes.
And you combine them with your work?
Yes.
And you run them concurrently?
Exactly.
Wow, there seems to be a spirit of entrepreneurship in you. From the word go, I can tell.
I think entrepreneurship started when I was very young, because when I was 13 years, when I found we were in serious problems, I started selling onions in our local market. So I would plant the onions, take to a market called Muiga and sell. The times of potatoes, there were seasons that were good seasons. Some seasons are very dry. Then I used to sell them in the market. And of course, I did that when I was very young. University, I did business. Of course, when I came out there, one of the business I did was selling cosmetics to the ladies. I had a shop in Gara.
Yeah.
Later on, the business went down. And then after that, I started doing the kahaya. I did kahaya for a while.
And all the time you are working?
I'm working, yes. Then that kahaya business also went down. I remember one time my car was picked by these robbers, They came, gave me the money, and they picked the car. They went and sold it. It was a very bad case, where the business collapsed. I did water packaging, also business went down. And before Optiven, I had done over 15 businesses that never worked. Over
None
15 businesses.
But the ones in campus seem to have worked.
Those ones worked.
For sustaining
income. But now Optiven is the 16th one.
But
by the grace of God, now we have expanded. And
so you're saying now you resigned. Did you literally resign, or you were sacked from there before you got out of there?
I resigned.
You're doing well?
Voluntarily, yes.
What is it that inspired you? Just after, is it 8 years or 10 years?
8 years.
8 years. Not many people have the guts to resign from a permanent employment because of the security of the income. And the income is stable and is reliable. What gave you the guts? What are the circumstances that prompted you to take that step?
I think at the time I was resigning, I was doing some business of car sales. I used to have a showroom at Mombasa Road called Asai Motors. And the business was picking up well. So I thought, let me now leave and go and do business. And I had done my savings. I had saved about 5 million. So when I came out, the business I think knew now I'm not working. It also went down.
Yeah.
Then I said,
about tragedy.
Then I said, since I had about 5 million, why can't I do other things? So I thought of real estate. So I started with the agency. So I did the agency, did not work very well. And then finally I said, why can't I buy land, add value to it and sell? The first land I bought with the 5 million I'd saved was in Syokimau, a place called Sabaki.
Yeah, I know Sabaki.
So I lost the money.
What happened?
So the title had the land had doubled.
The 5 million you had saved, your life savings, went down just like that.
I lost it.
What happened?
The land has double titles. So I go do the search, my search comes out. The bank does the search, doesn't come out. Only to discover double titles. Mine was a fake one. So I followed those guys. They disappeared completely.
Into thin air.
They had an office at Latansi. I went there. They closed. They switched off the phone. So I never found them. And life became unbearable.
Come to think about it.
Yeah.
You have just resigned from a good job.
Yes. And I've also the money I had saved.
You have continued a business, a car sales business.
Yes.
It goes down.
Yes.
You get into real estate and you put all your savings, 5 million there, and
I lost all the money.
It all goes down.
I lost all the money. It was very stressful. It was tough. And I remember now telling God I want to go back to employment. And I started doing the applications. And it's as if the heaven had shut. Because nobody even told me, I've seen your CV. Remember, you are CPK, you are BCom, you have experience. And for 1 year, my office was Uhuru Park, under a tree, with my Bible, a notebook, and a pen. And I told God, if you restore me again, 3 things will happen. I'll never be proud. Number 2, I'll be giving to the ministry. Number 3, I'll be giving to the community. That's why the foundation was born.
The 3 things.
The 3 things.
The 3 things.
I told God, if you restore me, just restore me. I will never be proud. I'll be serving you and the ministry, God's work. I'll be serving community.
Wow.
3 things. That's why when I told you my books, I don't sell. I don't eat the money. It's commitment I made in Uhuru Park when I was at my lowest.
I can imagine.
That's the time.
And that time you had a family?
I had a family.
Yeah.
My children were young. That's the time that you lose all the friends. I lost all my friends. I had only 3 friends. God, my pastor, Reverend Philip Katutu, and my wife, Mary. You call, nobody answers your call.
They know you are a struggler.
I was really struggling. Even going to town, I was going by foot. I had no money at all, and life was very, very unbearable. And I told God, please restore me. And I was in that dry season for 1 year. And that's why I told you earlier that I started mentorship. Because the way I came back, I found this mentor who really encouraged me, Dr. Wale Akinyemi, who told me, do not worry. God is going to restore you. You know, those words of encouragement, not money.
Not to give up.
Really influenced me that, yes, there is God there, and God will restore you. That's why for me, even for Optiven, we attribute success for Optiven, not because George is a very good marketer. The fear of God, honoring God, and doing God's work. Because for us, we don't joke with God's work. Even when we hire people, we tell them, here we pray in the morning. We have
devotions in the office.
We have a whole hall. We do devotion in the morning. There's one day in a month, we have a fellowship, and we invite the pastor for the fellowship. Because we are founded, one of our pillars is God himself. Because we're little for God. Can you imagine, Daktari, losing 15 businesses? This is the 16th one. And that's why even when we have challenges with Optiven, because challenges are always there.
It's part of life.
We always go for prayer and fasting. I remember the time we lost 200 million. I went to Catalonia with my wife for 3 days. And we were praying, God, what do we need to do? Now, this money, we are going to close this company. We have many employees. Where are they going to go? And God just, in a small whisper, go to the bank, borrow money, pay people. We went to the bank. By the grace of God, the bank gave us money. And we paid 530 customers back their money.
Wow.
Like this.
And we shall come there. Well, thank you, George. That's quite inspiring. That's quite awesome.
Thank you.
That despite your difficult upbringing, you are able to make a headway in life.
By the grace of God.
And I can tell you have a spirit of entrepreneurship from the word go. It did not just start now. It started from somewhere.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
And after trying your hard in the labor market, getting some jobs, and you started doing well, then you resign to venture into business. Then the business is corrupts. Wow. Viewers, time is so much against us, and we shall take a break, and we shall come back to hear this inspiring story by Dr. George Wachiuri.
Amen.
Keep it hope.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find the balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cindy.
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even meat of the world.
I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki msoul.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Welcome back. This is Overflow show where you live your life in abundance. We are tuned in to Hope TV and Hope FM. This show, just in case you are tuning for the first time, it's broadcast every Saturday from 8 to 9 p.m. on Hope TV and Hope FM. Today we continue with our series on world creation. And we have a guest today who has a very inspiring story. His name is Dr. George Wachiuri.
Thank you.
And we have just covered the first part. He grew up in poverty, had difficult challenges, even getting the school fees to go to high school. And wow, he steps onto campus at the University of Nairobi and he doesn't even have school fees. But wait a minute. He joins the Christian Union and he gets born again. And all of a sudden, he starts identifying some problems that he could offer solutions. And the first that came knocking was, what if he bought a camera? And he says, who bought a camera for you?
My brother.
His brother bought him a camera. He started taking photos, and that became the first source of income on campus. And before long, he started washing clothes for people. He started shaving heads. That is Wachiuri for you. Welcome back, Wachiuri.
Thank you.
Now, we left where you had resigned from a good job. You started venturing into this car business. Then it goes down. And all your lifetime savings, 5 million, you put it into land, into the real estate, and you get conned. And you become very devastated. But nevertheless, you picked up the broken pieces and started again. Take us from there.
Well, of course, for that 1 year,
Yes.
I call it 1 year of dryness and training.
Oh, it took 1 year,
1 year
to recover.
To recover.
And you're waking up to nothing.
And I had given up.
Yes.
In fact, I told God I would never do business. Never. I even wrote I would never do business. Let me go back to my career.
Yes.
And they did all the applications. If I see accounting job, I apply. Marketing job, apply. and the heavens had shut. No response. Even somebody say, "Hey,
You okay?
Wachiuri, I have seen your application,
yeah.
and unfortunately, I have no job." Zero, no response.
Even the regrets were not coming.
Even regrets were not coming. And I was sending letters.
You are now back to job search.
Yes.
You have given up on business.
Exactly. But that's the time I told God, "Hey, God, do something here." And by the grace of God, I got this wonderful mentor called Dr. Wachiuri. He's a very good friend of mine.
What does he do?
He does motivation speaking. He's also a consultant.
Yes.
He's now in Kilifi.
Okay.
He's a Nigerian brother. And that time he was offering mentorship on pay. You come and he gives you 5 sessions and pay. Me, I told him I have no money. I have no money. But please mentor me. This gentleman, Dr. Wale, called me at Serena. Hey, Serena.
5-star hotel.
Yes, and you are under the weather.
Yeah.
You are even shaking.
Yeah.
How do you go to Serena? And then you had to prepare a seat there, and we had the first 1-hour session. In fact, that one session told me, "George, there are many people who have lost everything, and God has uplifted them." I said, "That means I'm not alone." And then he told me,
Wait a minute. He has agreed to do it free of charge.
"Free of charge."
You have told him that you don't have
I
money.
don't have money.
And now he invited you to Selena.
Yeah, to Serena.
At his cost.
I have never forgotten. I was very humbled.
Yeah.
And that's why even today when he calls, I go. And then that first session uplifted me because I was down, I was depressed, I was stressed. I went home as if I had gotten a new job. That motivation. And I remember him telling me, I think session 2 says, "Don't drop Optiven. Don't drop it. One day, billboards will be reading Optiven, Mombasa Road, Thika Road, everywhere. This company will thrive." It's like prophesying on my life.
He spoke life and all this in your life.
In my life.
He prophesied.
So when I went home, I told my wife, "Hey, I think now I'm energized.
Yeah.
Let's go back
The power of motivation.
Let's go back to Optiven, mentorship and motivation." And then the idea just came, pop. You have no money, you have no friends, you have nothing. Where do you start? An idea just came. What if I start doing agency, whereby I do for daktari, you have a property, I sell, you pay me commission. The first property I got was in Karen. Beautiful property.
Yeah.
The owner wanted 70 million. By the grace of God, God has blessed me in marketing.
Yeah.
So I got
You did become in marketing.
I got a customer who was very excited.
How do you get this customer? And now you don't even have friends, don't have network.
Now I've gotten, with the energy, energy is like new capital. Now even energy to face you. Before I was hiding from people because I used to have a lot of money. Now you have nothing. And I remember talking to one of the gentlemen in our church, says, "Hey, I have a relative who in Australia and they're looking for something in Karen." Connected.
Wow.
This guy came very quickly and liked the property and we did the paperwork and paid for it. So I was the happiest man in Nairobi.
Wow.
Because the commission was 3%. 3% of 70 million is 2.1 million.
Wow, those years, that was a lot of money.
For the first time, I told my wife, "Hey, now we are back to our prosperity." The money was paid. So I got the order. For the first time, he did not answer the call as quickly as he used to answer.
But he has already paid you the commission.
No, I'm looking for my commission.
Oh.
So when he answered the call, he told me, he's a Kikuyu billionaire. He told me in Greek, "Mogodane waku," meaning, "Is land yours so that I pay you 2.1 million? Is it your land?"
Are you dealing with the buyer or the seller?
Now the commission is paid by the owner.
Okay.
Owner has now have the money.
Oh, yeah.
The money is paid.
Yeah.
That time I went home, the stomach was full of water. I was sweating because now I knew this guy doesn't want to pay.
The language can tell.
I could tell the guy doesn't want to pay me my 2.1 million. I went home so discouraged. I was so stressed. Then I called him the following day. He told me, "Young man, I'll pay you 100,000. I was shaking. I couldn't believe it. I think I was just depressed. Then the third day, I said, "Let me take this 100. It might help."
Yeah. It could be seed capital.
He never answered my call.
Even the 100,000, you never got it.
So I was not paid.
And wait a minute. Is this someone from your church or you are connected to him?
No, the owner is just a businessman. Maybe he's watching this show.
The connection was...
But I forgave him.
The connection, but the person who connected
Yes.
is from the church.
The buyer,
Yeah.
I was connected from the church. The buyer.
The buyer. Oh,
And the buyer has no problem.
Yeah.
The buyer has paid.
yeah.
But now the owner has refused to pay. And that's why I tell agents who
Not even a single cent. Even that 100,000 never came.
never paid anything. That's why for us at Optiven, if you look for land for Optiven, if the landowner does not pay you, we cancel the deal. That's our policy.
Wow.
Because I know the pain of not getting
Being shortchanged.
your commission. That was very discouraging. So, me, I'm a prayerful man. I was praying and praying. I pray and fasting. An idea just came. What if you buy your own land, subdivide? That's the first time I went to Kitengela. We bought land and we did subdivision. But now we had no money. So I told the owner, can you give me the land? I pay you something small, allow me to
Sell.
subdivide. Says, I want a 1 million. For me, 1 million was unheard of.
Yeah. Even the 100,000 never came. So
Yeah, never came.
Nothing.
So that one is unheard of. But by the grace of God, because we don't have time, I want to cut the story short, because the story is actually here in this book. So like
So
an
like
ego.
an ego.
So by the grace of God, we were able to sell. I had a small car. We sold the car. I looked for a friend who lent me money at 60% per year or 5% per month. We paid the guy. And
1 million.
1 million. Borrowed money at 60%, sold the car. And the miracle started happening.
Wait a minute. That's a very high interest. 5% per
Per
annum.
month.
Per month.
Per month. 60% per year.
That translates to 60.
When you don't have anything,
Yeah.
what do you do?
So you're saying you sold a car
I sold the car.
and then you now borrowed another
I
money.
borrowed some money. Then we paid the guy.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, because the story is here,
The land was how many acres?
it's 5 acres.
Okay.
That was the first miracle. That was the first miracle. And after that piece of land, we
Subdivided.
subdivided and sold it. Another Muidu was there, bought, sold it. The third one was another bigger miracle. Because this one, an idea just came. What if you go to the bank and ask them to do a partnership? They sell this land to their members. They agreed.
Wow. In a
And
church?
No, in a bank.
In a bank? Oh, wow.
The bank sent an email to 7,000 employees.
Wow.
It was 40 acres. And within 2 months, there was no plot. For the first time, I saw money I've never seen in my
Tens
life.
of millions.
A
Not
lot,
100 of
a
millions.
lot of money. And the miracles for Optiven continued up to now. Optiven is a miraculous company. Daktari.
Wow.
Yeah, I have cut this story like
I can imagine your
1%.
entry, your grand entry into
Yes.
real estate. What did you attribute that to?
I think I am.
That here you are, jobless, moneyless, friendless, and then you just make a rip of faith. And it's like you've struck a gold mine. What did you attribute that to?
I think number one, winning formula. Even now,
Yeah.
you know, now real estate is very challenging.
Yeah.
The power of trusting in God, the power of prayer, the power of partnering with God's work.
Fast.
Because for us, we really partner.
Because for sure, it
Yeah.
took God. It took God.
It was
It took God.
power of prayer.
I imagine even the loan you got at 60% per annum, you must have paid before 1 year was over.
I paid I think 4 months I had paid.
Oh.
Miracles. But even before those miracles happened, I remember going for a conference at Tumaini House. And there was this preacher from South Africa. And that time, even fare to go back home, I did not have. And he was praying for business people. Me, I said, let me go out there and be prayed for. And he prayed for me. He told me that it would be like Joshua. People borrowing money from me.
Wow.
That time you have nothing in the pocket. You're going to walk home. When people say, bring your offering, you have nothing to offer. Zero. You don't have anything other than yourself.
Yeah.
And that also encouraged me to keep going and trusting in God. And I want to encourage people out there that even as you do business, put God at the center of everything.
Yeah.
I know there are other things that we practice, good leadership, put system together, build relationship with the banks, but God first.
So the working formula you're saying is God first.
God first.
Trust in God, and the rest you follow.
Yes.
That reminds me of what the Bible says. Seek first the kingdom of God and
Yes.
his righteousness.
I tell you.
And all the rest you fall into
I
place.
totally agree.
All the rest will be added unto you.
That's a secret for Optiven success.
So now you have started doing agency.
Yes.
You have started getting commissions. And you are buying and selling land. And apart from God, because there are people listening and watching there, and they are wondering, I've tried agency, it doesn't work. I get conned. The first time you are conned by the owner of the land.
Yes.
Did you take some precautionary measures after that so that you're not conned again? What did you start doing different?
Of course, one of the things that, of course, now the company has grown. We have systems. So we have lawyers that does due diligence.
Yeah.
But even that time that was a one-man show, I now became very cautious that I must not rush when the deal is too good. When the deal is too good, think twice.
Yeah.
So take your time. And even now you come to me and say, hey, George, this land, there are many people who want it. I say, let them take. Take your time to purchase any property. Because, of course, many people have lost a lot of money through property, even us. Even now, we still lose some money once in a while.
It's part of the business.
Part of the business. But I discovered that it's good to be cautious. And, of course, for business expansion, as we are saying, other than prayer and trusting in God, leadership.
Leadership.
You must offer the proper leadership, especially when you're working with the people. You know, as you hire talents, get the talents that can fit to your vision. And then other than leadership, you require that powerful vision. You know, like for us, what drives us to be the champions of socio-economic transformation. Whatever that we do, we are pursuing that vision. And then once you invest in a powerful vision, develop a very good culture. Like you come to Optiven, the culture is a very warm culture. There, I'm not called a CEO. I'm not a CEO. I am a team leader.
Wow.
I am one of them. So build that culture of honesty, the culture of innovation, the culture of professionalism, the culture of confessing your sins when things go awful.
Taking responsibility.
Like the time we lost money for customers. We went out there, we have been conned. Give us time, we shall pay you back. And even now, people who buy land from Optiven, if you don't deliver, we refund. If we buy a property, it brings problems, we refund. And you have done that severally.
Let me take you back,
yes.
George.
Yes.
When did you register Optiven?
1999.
What was the first deal that Optiven did? Is it the one that you are conned?
When we were registered in 1999, we were supplying stationery.
Yeah.
It was not a real estate company.
Yeah.
We were doing stationery.
It was general supplies company.
General supplies. You ask anything, scaffolding. We don't know what it is, but we will say we are supplying.
But you are brokering.
Yeah, you buy and
yeah.
So after doing stationery, after about 8 years, we now diverted to real estate.
So for 8 years, you're just doing general supplies.
General supplies.
People should know that story because people have found Optiven. Many people have seen Optiven when it is now booming, when it is now in their success days. But you are saying there's a story behind that.
Oh, yes.
There's a time Optiven was just a general supplies company.
Yes.
Just supplying almost anything.
Anything. You need carpet, we have it. You need microphone, we have anything.
Did you have an office?
We have had a very small office at the Duruma Road. One desk and two chairs with my brother there. And the neighbor was a hotel, very noisy Ugandan hotel. They were selling matoke. It was very noisy. Then we moved from Duruma Road, we went to Nyakeo House, 2 rooms, then Gilfilan. Then we kept moving.
Yeah.
Yes, humble beginnings.
So for 8 years, you are just supplying almost anything, all sorts of merchandise.
Everything.
Now, you get into the first deal of land in Karen.
You lose.
And you lose.
Yeah. The second deal, after resigning work, you also lose.
You also lose.
So it was called baptism by fire. And
but now you put the first deal and in Kitengela and you went through.
Yeah, that was good. That's how Optiven now started now coming up. Because we did the first deal, it was for a gentleman who is in Deliverance Church. I think the lad was blessed. The second one, the third one, and then we just now picked from 2008. Before that, we are really struggling.
For 8 years, you struggled.
We really struggling.
So the surprise company did not do very well?
No. We were really, because of competition, we were really struggling.
Were you mean at that time or you were just almost alone?
My brother and myself.
Okay. So now things have started working.
Yes.
Let's go.
Of course, when we went to real estate and things were working out, one of the goals because I suffered a lot when I was looking for a job. One of the goals of Optiven, we said, our objective number one is to create 30,000 jobs by the year 2030. So whatever that you are doing, and there's an opportunity for creating a job, we are creating. And we start a project, we hire people, we add people, we train them. And I'm happy to say that today we are 700 employees.
Wow.
And our target is 30,000. You know why? They say, Daktari, the role of our entrepreneurs here and business people, not to make money. Making money is a very small goal. The role of every entrepreneur is to creating opportunities for other people. And for us at Optiven, we want to create as many jobs as possible. Of course, as they create jobs, they're also bringing some
as
income.
It cause people to rise, you're also rising up.
Exactly.
That resonates with what Zig Ziglar has said, that if you want to get anything in life, help as many people as you can.
I agree.
Once you help many people, you can also get what you want in life.
Exactly.
And there's something else you have also said that is very, very important. Setting systems in place.
Very important.
There are many people out there trying to do some businesses here, but they don't have systems in place.
Yes.
Because it is due diligence. It is when you have systems in place that you help you to do due diligence.
I agree.
That you avoid some of those
pitfalls.
Because you have set up systems in place.
I agree.
What do you mean by setting systems in place?
I think it's now I'm here.
Yeah.
And after here, I'm not going to the office. But suppliers are going to be paid. So there are financial systems. Properties in Vipingo, and Nakuru, and Kimuka, they are going to be sold. That means we have set up our marketing systems very well. Of course, there are legal issues. Our auditors are there. Agreements are going to be done. They are lawyers. So all those departments, there is the water is flowing. System is like a water flowing. A plumber comes to this building, does the plumbing and goes. So if you put very good systems, Wachiuri does not be there. The business will flow.
In other words, what you're saying,
yes,
you have reached a level whereby you're not working for money. Money is working for you. You can wake up in the morning, go and play golf.
Many times. You have said it.
You do play golf?
I don't.
Yeah. But you can actually, you don't have to report to work.
No, you don't have to report to work.
You have set systems in place.
And they're working.
And you have also recruited
qualified competent individuals. And when you recruit, and I want to address people out there who are recruiting, please don't just hire people that you know from your tribe. Hire talents, competencies, people who can support you. Optiven, we got an award as the most, matters diversification. It's a representation of all communities in Kenya. And we are very intentional about it. If you speak my language, you'll be a stranger at Optiven. Because you have every single community represented. Why? If you don't do that, the people who are going to balance this Africa is our people who are watching us. So if you come to your office, and I can only, maybe you are CEO Kamba, I only hear Kikamba, I know you are not going anywhere. Right now for us at Optiven, we are now a global organization. We are thinking on how to do businesses in Congo, in Nigeria. So we're also looking at now bringing Africans to work for this vision, because now Optiven is now bigger than Kenya. And that's why you find that we are doing a lot of global business out there. Yes.
That's quite inspiring. I like what I'm hearing, that now Optiven has started doing well, and you have set up systems in place. You're saying 700 employees?
Yes.
700 employees. You're touching life. And the goal is social transformation, socio-economic transformation.
Yes.
And we had talked about what motivates people to get involved in economic activities. And we had actually seen that profit is not the end goal.
No.
Making money is just the means to a higher goal. That your goal determines how far you can go. And if your goal is just self-centered, it just limits yourself only.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
Thank you for those very good insights.
Thank you.
And we thank God that you are setting the pace. It has not been easy for many people to do business in the right way.
It's true.
To embrace diversity especially. There are many people who think only in terms of their tribes. That I have to get someone from my tribe or from my family, even if that person is not educated. But you're saying you have gone beyond that.
In fact, when I met a people, I tell them, hire people you can fire.
Oh.
Because if you hire your relatives, when you fire them, you go home for Christmas. Hey, Daktari. Hey, Dr. Karau is a very bad man. and
hire people
you can fire. Yes.
Does that mean that you don't hire from your family?
Maybe one or two. One or two.
And there are systems to take care of that.
Yes.
If he doesn't behave, it's not about you and him.
No, there's a HR system.
There's a HR.
So you'll be shown the door. Yes.
Viewers and listeners, we have come to the end of this show, and with us was Dr. George Wachiuri, the CEO, the MD of Optiven. Optiven is the leading company, real estate company, I would say now in Kenya, among others. And you have heard the story, and there's more we can say.
Sure.
And we are going to say, tune in even to the next episode where we are going to host Wachiuri again, so that you can hear more. I want you to unravel this wealth creation, so that members can know that you don't have to have come from a good economic background. You came from a very poor background. And here you are leading a billion worth company.
Yeah, the grace
And
of
thank you
God.
for the lessons that you have shared with us.
Thank you.
And before you come to his parting shot, I want to say, viewers and listeners, you can keep this program on air by just becoming a friend of hope. And just go to your, you can partner with us by going to your M-Pesa menu. Our paybill number is 933-933, and our account is FOH Overflow. We would like you to just partner with us so that we can keep this program going. Once again, this is Hope TV and Hope FM Overflow show, where we live life in abundance. We have been hosting George Wachiuri, the MD of Optiven. What's your parting shot? Just look at the camera.
Thank you, our people. And yes, those who are up there, you can be able to read one of the most inspiring books. It's called Solar and Canigo. I tell people that if you read this book, you don't shed a tear. You must be a brother or a sister of Hitra. This one, it's a very nice book. It's 2 hours, you finish it. This is the challenges of business. This is why we lost $2 million. I wrote a book so that I do not want anybody of you to lose money. And of course, I do mentorship under George Wachiuri's mentorship, how to start small and build an empire. 2 things that we must do as business people, as entrepreneurs, as career people. We are talking about wealth creation. Wealth creation is not only financial wealth creation. You know, when we talk about financial wealth creation, it's about accumulating assets. You know, you have rental homes, you have all these assets. But there's a very, very important wealth creation, spiritual wealth creation. Because at the end of the day, we shall go to heaven. All what we have here, we leave it. And then we have what I call the physical wealth creation. Your health is your wealth. So let's go out there. Let's expand, especially in the kingdom. And a secret, if you get the money, support the ministry. There's a formula I give my mentees. I tell them, when you get the money, there's a formula I practice, 70, 10, 10, 10. 10% is the owner, the tithe. 10% invest it. 10% find out, have some insurance so that when things happen, at least you have fallback. 70% go to Mombasa. Go to GMC Kitengela, buy Optiven. Go to GMC Cullen, spoil yourself. God bless you. See you at the top. Dr. George Wachiuri.
That's a good part in short. 70, 10, 10, 10.
Yes.
Thank you. Viewers and listeners, thank you for having us. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time, same time, same place. God bless.